Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Facilities Committee. I'm sitting in for Mr. Levenstein, the chair, today. We're going to start with item 1.01, Foster Town School Septic Repairs. Mr. Velez?
Carol, can I request that Roger Rabb, you do the report first because Lauren Trash, you have to go to another meeting?
Perfect. We can do that first.
Okay.
So we're going to jump down to item 1.08, and I guess you're on, Mr. Ramjo.
Thanks, Madam President. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, please. We have four projects currently underway, various phases of development. Two are in the design phase. They are New Windsor Elementary School, as well as the new Career and Tech Education Center. And under construction is Heritage Middle School, which is running in parallel with Valesgate Elementary. So this evening, I just want to provide you an update of where we are so far. Could you change this? Okay, so at New Windsor, we are still waiting for final approval from the Office of Facilities Planning. The project manager still has to sign off. Along with that, we will be reviewing in depth an updated budget estimate from the construction manager. Recently, we finalized finishes, and in preparing for the bid, we will be doing a detailed review with Clark Patterson Lee, our architect, as well as the district administration. Our new Career and Tech Education facility, we asked for some revisions to the facade because it was more closely aligned to the aesthetic environment. That, along with some programmatic interior modifications, and a focus on maximizing all of the interior space towards instruction. So we are anticipating a proposal from Clark Patterson Lee for that design, and upon receiving it, we will be pulling together this coming January at the Facilities Committee meeting. We'll talk more about the development, but focused on the programming. At Heritage Middle School, well into the construction phase, the slab floor for the addition, the infrastructure is near complete, and they anticipate pouring this week. When I say pouring, initially it was about pouring the slab floor. However, they were found that when they dug into the current foundations that it needed some extra shoring up or some piers that had to be poured first. So as of the meeting today, I was made to understand that will be happening this week. And early next week, we would have weather permitting, we would have the floor being poured. Steel is ordered and being fabricated. And whereas this says the mechanical working drawings is near completion, as of today, the architect and the engineers have those working drawings and are reviewing them. Upon doing so, the next step is duct fabrication and installation, and I say so because we have been incorporating a second shift. It's been really successful. The electrical contractor has been in the building, working in the evenings, a second shift, and they've just about roughed in all of their electrical infrastructure. So we hope to pursue the same schedule for the mechanical contractor. We have, along the way, we've had some change orders and allowance authorizations that are in various stages of investigation, research, approval. The district had asked upon the start of school for the exhaust fans in the cafeteria to be reinstalled to provide additional ventilation. There was a drain line on the perimeter of the outside of the building that was found that needed to be removed. Along with the construction enclosure, we needed to develop an egress out of the cafeteria in lieu of emergency exits for the students should it become necessary. So a stone walkway and fencing had to be installed to accommodate that. Initially, we had planned on installing the infrastructure to have power window shades in the addition. We recently realized that wasn't necessary, so we took a credit back for the power installation, and we're going to take a look at and compare prices with state bid for manual shades, very similar to the ones that are in this room. So everyone seemed to think that was more practical.
Roger, can I ask, Mr. Duray, do you have any questions on the first three?
Not yet,
Because
no.
I have a couple of quick
Please.
questions. So on page 3 on the CTE, can that design be shared with the board when it's done? Because I think
Absolutely,
it would be a nice idea to kind of keep them abreast of what's going on and show them something that's gonna happen that's exciting, that's nice, and that's new.
Yes.
I think that would be a really good thing. And then on page 5, on the Heritage and Middle School change orders. So, there's no change order for the pouring. Remember you said there was something that needed to be, is that gonna also be a change order that's gonna be coming up?
It will be coming up, yes.
Okay, so that's something to kind of keep in our heads. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the temporary egress walkway and fencing change order. One would believe that if you're working in a school district, you know that you need to have an egress from a cafeteria in case of problems. So my feeling is that we shouldn't have had to have a change order. That should have been built into the design and into the project. My opinion, as a former educator, I mean, that's what I would think as a principal, that would have been planned for.
Correct, yes.
That's it.
Yeah, so just want to comment, so when we're gonna have somewhat of a combined presentation in January of 2023's Facilities Committee meeting, where Dr. Farrell and Mr. Etrie will be joining us to speak about the programmatic as it applies to the architectural layout. We look forward to that.
Yes, Dr. Manning.
I also want to make sure that for context, the board members see what was planned, because maybe some of the board members were not aware of what was planned and what we had to change, so they understand the scope of work and why we are shifting. That's
Absolutely,
important for them to
yes.
see.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and
Go ahead. John.
just one other recommendation for you and your team. Could we have pictures also? So when things are being done, the previous capital project, the board was provided with pictures of things that were
Progressing.
done as progress, because they don't have the time to go into all of the sites. But it's really nice for them to see a picture of what's truly happening, and then they can connect it to the language that you're sharing. So I'd like to see some pictures of the work that's happening.
Thank
We'll
you.
do it.
Can I put that?
Go ahead.
We have been trying to coordinate so that our communications team can also be out there taking pictures so that we can do that as part of our communications update to the community and not just to the board meetings.
Thank you. Why don't you continue, Roger?
Sure, please. So moving on to Vales Gate, as I said, the addition at Vales Gate is very, very similar to the work that's going on at Heritage. The modulars were removed and a new addition is being constructed. As of Friday, the floor, all of the infrastructure was laid and the concrete floor slab was poured. And the general contractor is preparing to start masonry walls there. There's a new electrical service panel and conduit installation underway. I spoke about the electrical contractor doing work on second shift. So there's a panel that was originally planned for a different location, but it couldn't happen, so it was relocated. And that work is progressing, as well as conduit being installed in the ceilings of the hallways. So that's moving along pretty well. And pending the approval of the working drawings, very similar to Heritage, the mechanical contractor will begin duct fabrication for the relief air duct in the hallway.
Go ahead. So Mr. Duray has a question.
Are we on plan? I see the progress, but are we on progress for the plan?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you.
But pictures would be nice,
Yes.
because to me, these are words I'm a visual. Need a visual. Thank you.
Okay. Here too, we've had some instances of unforeseens. 2 instances of asbestos abatement that had to be performed. Also in the cafeteria, there was an inset of a lunchroom table built into the wall that obstructed a doorway that had to be installed. So the masonry infill was necessary to close the gap around the existing door jamb. There's a credit for a fire barrier. Initially, it was supposed to have a temporary wall built to separate the cafeteria. We ended up taking a credit on that. And there were LVL, the support beams that needed to be installed to reinforce the mechanical equipment on the roof. And that was part of the plan. However, there were electrical circuits that were in the way that had to be removed, the beams installed, and then relocated. Other changes are the main distribution electrical panel I talked about. We had to develop a temporary parking lot to offset the parking that was removed as a result of the capital project. And there was also a proactive step in trenching and asphalt paving to cover up a conduit that was supposed to be installed next year. However, given the schedule, the construction schedule, it was more prudent to install it this year over the summer. So that's work that has already been completed in lieu of the intended completion date in August of next year.
Mr. Ramczyk, what does AA mean?
It's an allowance authorization as compared to a change order that is built into the budget that changes, unforeseen changes can draw down on from a predetermined total.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Duray.
On the asbestos, I'm guessing you had a pre-bid meeting, people walked through. How did they miss $25,000 worth of asbestos on pipes?
They were, in lifting out the ceiling, I'll speak first about the 90 linear feet and lifting out the ceiling. There was looking for access for a number of different things that had to be installed. And that's when it was located. It was an unforeseen.
Good.
Any other questions, Mr. Duray?
No, that's it, thank you.
Dr. Campbell and Mr. Ford, did anything else? Thank you,
And I
Roger.
promise you we'll have more pictures to go along with the words.
Thank you. Okay, can we go to regular agenda? And thank you guys for coming and just sitting. I apologize, but thank you for being here. So we're gonna move on to item 1.01, Foster Town School Septic Repairs, please.
Yeah, about 6-7 weeks ago, we had a problem at Foster Town School with the septic pumps. There's 2 septic pumps, and for you, Mr. Durr, because you're new, in Foster Town School, the septic is below the road, so we have to pump it to the town sewer. So there's 2 pumps there. One was replaced 15 years ago, the other one was 35 years. So the old pump quit about 6-7 weeks ago, in the middle of the day, which is tough. So we had a contractor, they came in, we have to order one, and it takes 6 weeks to get the pump, which came yesterday. So we have it. So today we replaced the older pump. Tomorrow we're gonna replace the other one. That way they both know. And then on Friday, the students are not in the building, we're gonna replace both check valves. Because in order to do that, I have to shut down the system in the building. So we're doing that Friday when the building is empty. So we coordinate to do it this Friday, and thank God the pumps came in. So we were there today. By Friday, we'll be done with test everything. So when the students come on Monday, the work is going to be completed.
Andy, how did that interfere with the working of the school and for the education that was going on? In
The first day when the septic backed up into the building, to a hallway by the main office, we found out right away. The pump that wasn't working, we disconnect, and then the other one, there's a problem with the float, so we got that fixed. It was only a couple gallons, stuck that back into the building. The hallway by the main office was closed for about 4 hours for us to clean and disinfect. And then every morning we go there to make sure the pumps are running.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you, Andy.
So this Friday we'll have that work completed, and Champ Enterprises is doing the installation.
I remember seeing the invoice for that, thank you.
Mr. Duray, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
We're gonna move on to 102, painting update.
We started 4 years ago the painting program for the schools. We hired 4 painters that worked the night shift. They worked 3 to 11. Our goal was to paint every classroom in 5 years. We did it in 4. So we started a new cycle. So now we're not painting all the classroom. We're talking to principals. And we started painting the beginning of the school year, and New Windsor School hallway bathrooms and staircases, and Guinea Avenue School. New Windsor, we finished last week, the list that was provided by the principal, and I moved that crew to Horizon Schools. We started Horizons this week. There's several classrooms that we have to paint. We're doing all the staircases, all the hallways, and the cafeteria. So I expect to have that work completed by Christmas break. And what I did, because we're not doing the whole building, I split the crew 2 and 2. So the other crew is working in Guinea Avenue. They started working in Guinea Avenue back in July. And we painting a lot of classrooms, because now, when we painted 5 years ago or 4 years ago, we didn't have the color scheme that we have now. So we're changing it. Mr. Glowacki is very involved, which is good and bad. But we're putting a beautiful plan for the building, and it's looking really, really good. So we have the gym, the cafeterias, we're doing hallways, and we're gonna start classrooms next week. So it's good to have the principal involved. Sometimes they want a lot. Like I promised him 3 months, that was in July, and they're still there. So might as well just get it all done.
Right.
So we're doing that. The next school, when we finish these 2 schools, is going to be West Street, one section that they want to change the colors, and Meadowhurst School are the next 2 on the line.
Thank you, Andy. That's so important that the schools look clean and neat and, especially our city schools, because it helps with the environment that kids learn in. So thank you very much, Andy.
And the colors are looking good. We were talking last night about West Street School.
Yeah.
How nice it looks, yes.
Wow, North.
North,
The
yes.
cafeteria in North is unbelievable. I mean, we all saw that last night.
North, 2 years ago, we painted the entire building. Yes, we did.
Okay, Mr. Dre, do you have any questions?
No, just to second what you said, I've only been to a couple of the schools. It's just, they're so impressive. It really is. I know they're not new structures by any means, but just to walk through and see the care that you put into taking care of them is, it's quite outstanding. And as I said last night, we were talking, I said, it's not just people doing it. There is a sense of pride that you feel that people are really taking care of the building. So congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to move on to item 1.03, South Middle School handicap bathroom.
This year, early summer, I met with Mr. Chris Baer. We had a student going to South that has a wheelchair and has special needs. So we have to find a bathroom to accommodate the student. Of the gym office, there's 2 bathrooms. We took one, we worked with the MTA because we took a teacher bathroom, and we basically took the shower, the little hallway out, and we converted it into a fully handicapped bathroom. Mr. Bear provided the equipment to help the student. We installed it, we painted the wheelchair lift, worked for the student. The area where the toilets are, there was 2 toilets. We took one out, put one, and removed the partitions because the students need the bathroom. So it's all completed, it's working. Of course, some people asking me when we're gonna make it back a teacher's bathroom, and I go, no, that's not gonna happen. It's for students. But I work with Mr. Bear and Shante, the principal, and our guys, and we did the work in about 6 weeks.
Mr. Velez, is there any opportunity, and I know South is South, it's small and the facilities are what they are, knowing that when the students get to the second floor, getting to a bathroom near the gym is kind of rough. And if somebody is handicapped and they're in a wheelchair, they have to go all the way around, use the elevator, go all the way down and then to the bathroom. So would there be an opportunity to put one on the second floor or?
The second floor does have a handicap bathroom.
Oh, good.
For this particular student, we needed something bigger.
Oh,
That's why we did the renovation.
okay. Thank you.
The student has a lift, yes.
Put it in the lift. Okay.
We had to take the kid from the wheelchair, put him in the lift to use the facility.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dre, do you have a question?
No.
Thank you, Ann. Let's move on to item 104, parking lot striping.
I usually don't put this on the agenda, but this year we did it all on overtime because the paint was ordered in March and came the first week of September. So we did 10 out of 16. Now that's called, we did the bigger schools. We have enough paint, so when they warm up again, we're gonna do the other 6. We usually do it every year. And when we were doing that, we have an area at Meadowhurst School there's all tennis courts that is now a playground area. So there was weeds and there was problems there, so our guys sealed the whole area, fixed the cracks. So, and we put basketball hoops so the kids can use that area.
Nice.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Durgan?
No, I do not.
Thank you. Let's move on to item 1.06, the yearly NYSED fire inspection.
Carol, it's
Oh,
1.5,
sorry,
the
1.05.
Meadow Hill.
I'm trying to go through.
Yeah.
Meadow Hill elevator, sorry.
Meadow Hill School was built in 1971. So the elevator was installed in 1971. And the main power unit fell. Over the past few years, we've been renovating some of the elevators because they're old. We did south, we fixed one, and we renovated the one on NFA North completely. Very, very expensive. So what we did in Meadow Hill, we ordered a new power unit. We ordered it 2 weeks ago. We expect to have it delivered to us by the second or third week in January. So right now, we don't have an elevator at Meadow Hill School. We have one student that has crutches, so we work with the principal and we give them what is called an evacuation chair. So if the kid's in the second floor, we have an emergency, we put it on the chair. And it has 6 wheels, so in the back, so you can go down the steps to bring the student outside. I'm pushing all the elevator, but I don't think they can get the parts. We are also renovating the 2 elevators. We fixed one, but now we're doing a complete renovation at South Middle School. And that renovation is $240,000. So I worked with Dr. Spindler last year and with Kimberly now to secure the funds. We order all the equipment in February. It's not here yet. They're saying that they're going to try to get one completely renovated in December and the other one at night. Because they both working, but they're very old. And sometime we have to, if we use them, we have to kind of play with the buttons too because we missed 2 inches, so we have to adjust it. The 2 elevators are south. One was installed in 1967, the other one in 1974. So we do inspections every year. And with the inspection, they inspect the communication system, the hydraulic. But now the systems are old and they don't make some of these parts anymore. So we have decided when we do one, we go full blown. When we start working on the budget for next year, I'm going to work with Ms. Roaring to try to do 1 or 2 more next year. If we do in Meadow Hill, we're going to have to do tempo, they both the same age.
That was gonna be my question, were those original to
They
the
were,
1980 building, right?
yes, 1971.
71. And how, I was always afraid to use the elevator at an FA. It's a scary, scary elevator.
We repair NFA, all the control, the car, when you ride up and down, it's the same from, I don't know when, but all the mechanicals are new. We did the one by the nurse office and the one by the West Wing. They both function, yes.
Thank you.
I'm going to try to do 2 a year, but it's very, very expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive, yes, thank you. Do you have any questions?
When you say we, do you mean we do it in-house or?
We contract out.
Okay, all right.
I fight with my boss to get the money and then we do it. No, I mean, we do inspections, but this had to be contracted out.
Okay, understood.
Yes.
So you're gonna like make a routine and put it into the budget every
For
year?
next year, I'm going to put 2.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, can we move on to a yearly NYSED fire inspection?
Yes, fire inspections are next week. The State Education Department inspect all the schools for fire and safety every year. This year we have a brand new inspector, so it's going to be interesting because this person, not brand new as an inspector, brand new to us. But I'm certified inspector, but I cannot inspect our own schools. So bosses help us and sometimes I help them in other schools. So Joe and I took the class together, and when I tell you he's very, very strict, to the point that I'm trying to walk all the classroom before he get here. I only had 240 to go, and it's going to be on Wednesday. So we're going to start Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday we're doing the town of Newburgh, 3 schools and 2 in the city. Thursday we're doing New Windsor and 2 in the city. And Friday we're going to do Meadow Hill, NFA, and North, because they're 3 large programs. And then we get 30 days if we have any violations. Once that's all corrected, I'll sign off. I'll provide the superintendent with a link to the state that we have to sign off. And we can print our own COs now, which is easier. Before we have to wait, now we print the COs.
Yeah.
So it make our life easier. But we need COs by January 1st. So the inspections are now. Before Christmas, we have to submit the paperwork and we get the CO for January 1st.
You'll do good.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We are in really good shape.
Now, I know that some of the custodians, because at North last night, one of the custodians was talking to me about the fire inspection. So they're aware of what they need to do with the teachers to, kind of fall in line with the regulations. So, it's a big deal. It's, in a school, it's a big deal.
The fire code is changing every year. They keep doing new things. This year, BOE put a flyer that they selling the flyers to the schools. I talked to them and I got an electronic copy, so I sent it to all the principals, to send it to all the teachers. And I work with the custodians. We have some schools that we had no principals, so I'm spending more time in those schools because they never been through the process. So I've been to Forest School twice, and I'm gonna go again tomorrow there to make sure they're in good shape. Some principals like Scott and Meadowville or Mr. Lopez, they've done it several times. So they call me with problems. Like today, Mr. Lopez called me, hey, we missed the fire extinguisher when we did the inspection, so we get all that ready for the inspection. Because once Wednesday roll in, I am with this person from 8 o'clock Wednesday morning till 5 p.m. Thursday. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna come in sneakers and lose 3 pounds, which I need.
Mr. Giroux, do you have any questions?
No, I have sympathy.
This year's gonna be intense, but we do it I'm doing this 32 years. This year's gonna be interesting because this person look in spaces they no one else look. We'll see how that goes. And because now this year we're including safety, he's also the safety inspector for BOCES. And I asked him, what exactly you're gonna be looking for? And he said, you'll find out when we walk through the building.
Oof.
So that's gonna be fun.
So we're gonna move on to our last item, I think. 1.07 NFA Ann Street update, the asbestos management program.
We talked about this back in this, I think it was in August, when we signed the lease for Sacred Heart. That's the name of the building we leased it first. The Catholic Church don't have an asbestos plan, and the building does have asbestos. So we did an abatement of the floors. We worked on that for several months. When we applied for a CO, the state asked me for the management plan, and I said to them, I don't have it. The church don't have one. So we work with them, Mr. Forget, Kimberly Roaring, and our superintendent, and we asked for a temporary CO. And we asked them for 60 days. And I said, in 60 days, I'll get you the management plan. We're gonna put one together. The state was kind enough that they said, we're gonna give you a permanent CO, but make sure you get that asbestos management plan. So we worked with them. We did it in about 4 weeks. Last week, I submitted it to them. They gave us until November 30th. We submitted it last week. They replied, they got it, we're good. So now we have a permanent CO for that. Well, we had from the beginning, but now it's official. And when we do the new fire inspection, we get a new CO on January 1st for the full year. And I work on that because I'm the asbestos person of the district. I spent 2 Saturdays with a company going through the building, and we had to do some areas, we had to test some areas to make sure there was no asbestos. And we found more than what the church informed us. There was a problem with plumbing last week, and I identified that there was an area with asbestos, so the church closed the bathroom, and they did the abatement, and this weekend they're gonna fix the girls' bathroom at the end of the hallway, and then they're gonna close the wall.
Mr. Jory, do you have any questions?
Nope, that was a good explanation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. Yeah. Oh, we have to go into exec. Before we do, Andy, do you have anything else you want to do before we go into exec?
Next month, I'm gonna bring pictures of all the stuff that, yeah, I'm gonna do that, so that's a very good idea, yes.
Thank you. I'm going to ask that people that are around the back, you've got to go, we got to close the door. Roger, you need to go